Today, in breaking Bitcoin, Bitcoin is surging in anticipation of Thanksgiving tomorrow. So we'll see if this is the movement we've been watching for or just another scrape off of the top. Popular South Korean exchange Upbit just got hacked last night for $50 million worth of Ethereum. Or was it an inside job? We're going to look at the facts. The Kennedy School just ran a simulation on cryptocurrency's threat and potential increase in nuclear proliferation around the world for a simulation they ran for the year 2021. And we talk about China's repo market crisis. Stay tuned. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, everybody. Recorded live here in the Cracking Cryptocurrency studio. Today is Wednesday, November the 27th, 2019, foul year of our Lord, one day before Thanksgiving for those in the North American hemisphere. Congratulations, guys. We've made it this far. Time for another holiday. Make sure, as we always focus on this channel, and me personally in my own life, to take the opportunity over the holidays. Don't dismiss them. Use this opportunity to call people that you haven't called in a while, especially friends and family, because it does not profit us very well to do well in the cryptocurrency markets, but sacrifice the things that are most important to us, friends, family, and living our best lives, which is what we're here to do, guys. So we've got a fantastic show for you guys today. This is your daily source for market sentiments, news, and updates for traders in all markets. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder of CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing great wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you would like to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage on whatever platform you happen to be repping on this glorious Wednesday afternoon. All right, we've got so much to talk about. Before we get into that, though, if you are new to the stream or you've been watching for a while and wanting to trade with the Cracking Cryptocurrency team, of course, we do have our once a year Black Friday sale coming up this Friday. Pretty excited about it. I've talked to a lot of people about it. I know that a lot of individuals are hodling out for the deal, and I respect that frugality as a financial frugal person myself. So if that's the opportunity you've been waiting for, that will be live on the website on Friday. All the details I'll talk about tomorrow a little bit more. Still ironing out the very last details, but it's all ready to go. Just needs to be pushed live. So looking forward to that. Hopefully that falls into the wheelhouse of what you guys have been looking for as well. It will be available to current subscribers. It will be available to new subscribers as well. So whether you want to add to your subscription or whether you want to join the team for the first time, that will be an opportunity that will be available to you. As you guys can tell, I've got the DSLR camera fixed, so hopefully you enjoy the new video quality. Hopefully you enjoy the new atmosphere. Hopefully you enjoy the new studio. Me and my co-founder, Ben, spent a lot of time setting it up, so hopefully you guys appreciate it, and we just look to add to it and make it better as we go forward. All right, other little bits of details. Still working on website and Discord integration. Hopefully, hope to have that done here very, very soon. And then we can really start with our online trading academy, which we've been working on in the background for quite some time. That's going to make current members very, very happy, give them access to a lot of stuff that they didn't have before in a much easier fashion that they had before, as well as give new traders and new entrants into the group really what they've been looking for as far as a one resource place to go to learn to trade. By the Bitcoin Brawl, guys, the ByBit Games 2019 are upon us. Tonight, to the best of my knowledge, is the last night for registration. If you want to come join our team and help us and receive, reap the benefit of trading with a winning team, you guys can sign up at bybitbrawl.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You can still get a small additional margin bonus, I believe, if you do sign up. I think the deadline is tonight or early in the morning. So for traders in the Northern Hemisphere like myself, that's essentially tonight. If you guys haven't registered at ByBit, you can do so at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com to get an additional welcome bonus as well. Okay, we've got so much to go over. I want to thank this would have been Thursdays. It's so good to be back, guys. So good to be back. The last crypto comment giveaway winner, which was Mr. Ether, the man, the myth, the legend. I want to thank this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io for all your project security needs. Let's, without further ado, head over into the live scene, give away some cryptocurrency, and break down these markets today, guys. Let's do this. All right, here we are in the live scene. And for some reason, it did wipe away the URL that I had in there. So let me just go grab it real quick. Of course, the last video that we did was, is this the moment we've been waiting for? All right, pop that in there. Massive Bitcoin sell-off, bear market confirmed, or epic buy signal, and XRP tax evasion revealed. Make sure to go check that video out if you did not get an opportunity, if only for the information that we revealed about Ripple and their foundation and their charity, or lack thereof, randomly picking a winner as we do. And let's see here. You know, this looks like a fake comment. Yeah, that definitely looks like a fake comment. Mark Signal, huh? All right, Mark must be the best. Let's just randomly pick another winner. And this is Wendy, my good friend Wendy. He says, any advice on overcoming confirmation bias? And to answer that, let's hop into the live scene. Wendy, thank you so much for your comment. Make sure to get a hold of me in the Discord, my friend, as you have done before, and I will tip you some crypto. All right, so here we are in the live scene. And of course, we've got Bitcoin trading at 76.20, 76.16, having a nice surge pre-Thanksgiving. We're going to break that down here in just a second. Let's answer Wendy's question about confirmation bias. The best way to deal with confirmation bias is, in my opinion, a very simple answer, and that is having a technical strategy that you have tested extensively and will default to, and make that commitment to yourself to only trade and trade all signals that your strategy gives you. If you are trading subjectively or discretionarily as an addendum and you are finding that that is causing you problems, then that is most likely something that you need to cut out of your trading strategy. You know, unfortunately, the way that we trade here is very different than what most people can, than most people trade. I think that's a huge reason why we have consistent success year after year, and other individuals have spotty results at best, if not any results at all, because the majority of traders who trade discretionarily are losing money consistently if you zoom the lens out far enough. Whereas what we are focused on is building wealth, sustaining wealth, and growing that wealth over time. So defaulting to a technical strategy, taking your emotions out of the trade, and not allowing yourself to ignore just the rules that you've set for yourself. So, you know, for many, and still I have a whiteboard over there. I still have the rules that I trade by on that whiteboard. I follow those rules. If I ever find myself wanting to take a trade that does not conform to those rules, all I have to do is look up at the whiteboard. You can accomplish this with a Post-it note that you can put on your trading desk or wherever you happen to be trading. Not trading via mobile is a great idea. I don't like the idea of trading mobily. I know that a lot of people are excited with trading mobily, or kind of being on the go and trading, but often, again, the problem with that is discretion, again, is usually the biggest downfall for most traders. So just having a firm set of rules, going through the work, and this is what most people will not want to do, either in our course or in our community. A lot of individuals are going to struggle and resist against going through the work. They just want very simple solutions to things. Now, we've done our best to provide those as best as we can, but the onus is still on our traders to put the work in and build their own strategies. And this is going to apply regardless of your trading method, regardless of your trading strategy, wherever you happen to be trading, in whatever market you happen to be trading. I know for certainty that a tested, fully back-tested, and rules-based trading approach to any market is going to have consistent results over time, and a discretionary approach is going to have spotty results at best. So those times when your system is not giving you a trade and you're seeing individuals scream about wild gains, just remember that those individuals are not screaming about their wild losses as well, and just always have faith in the system that you are building, that you are developing, and default to that in all matters until you have attained a base level of profitability and you are able to return that consistently. Then you can start branching in other markets, or you can look to add rules-based discretionary trades to your arsenal, but only after you've really ironed out and have in place a firm trend following, or whatever your strategy happens to be, rules-based mechanic for how you're going to take your base level of trades. You have to develop that system first, because it's going to be with you for the rest of your life, and it is of the utmost importance that you spend your time developing that now, and not your time trying to chase the gains of other traders around who you have no idea whether they're being honest, whether or not they're being consistently profitable, and overall that just amounts to noise. So ignore the noise, my friend. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody over on DLive. We've got some fascinating stuff happening over on DLive. A lot of follows. That monitor is kind of hard for me to see. But Andy, Dipso, Mitch, Spooky, Senior, Zrizzle, 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 I think that's right. Sorry, man. Crypto Knight, thank you guys so much for the follows. Thank you guys for the lemon donations. Highly appreciate that. We're going to be throwing some lemons in the chest. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. Let's toss some lemons in the chest for you guys, and we will be opening that chest right after the first break. The first thing we do when we come back from the first break, guys, we'll be opening up that chest. All right, so let's get into the market. We've got a fairly exciting day today with Bitcoin up. Let me get my cursor on the right screen over here. Okay, good. Everything seems to be working properly. Let me know, guys, if there's anything weird or wrong or crazy. My restream chat seems to be a little like whack-a-noodle right now for some reason. I'm not getting YouTube initializing, so let me try restarting it. But anyways, Bitcoin up about 6% on the day. Obviously, a little bit more from low to high, from true low to true high. Yeah, I'm still not getting YouTube on my restream. So what I will do is just pull the YouTube chat over here, as I sometimes do. Ah, here we go. Pop out this chat, pull it over, and boom. All right, let's do a quick roll call here real quick. We've got Tim Matthews, we've got Crypto Jack, GBU Wally, Caprica, good to see you, my friend. Spectre Security Coin, my good friend. Da Vinci, we've got Lefty Farbod, Ricky Thompson, Atomic Stag, MT Coiner, Wendy is here in the house, Dark Rico, Blockchain Gains, Ferguson, Dutch Crypto Overview, Crypto Caveman, Ron Legato. We've got a lot of good folks in the chat today. And Andrew says, make your rules on a notepad, note called, read every morning, look at them, recite them, do not break them. Yes. Strength and Profit, Scrooge, my good friend. Why YouTube show notification late? I don't know, man. All right. B-Flow, good to see you in the house too. All right. Well, let's get into this. So pretty exciting day for Bitcoin. Again, let me just preface this with saying that I'm not in a long position. Overall, my portfolio is flat. I did just recently add a position this morning. Last night, I picked up an XRP USD long based on that was a discretionary reversal trade. So I was able to take a long out of this area if we do end up getting, some nice trending signals here moving forward, which we do not have right now. But for the all intents and purposes, probably the most actionable data for you guys will just start from yesterday. On yesterday's close, we did close above my baseline. So that was one early exit signal. On that same candle, we also had a Minx crossover, as you guys can see. Minx crossover on yesterday's daily candle. It wasn't actually the day prior to that. There was no crossover on that day. We actually got the crossover on this candle on yesterday's daily close. Now, what does that mean? It means that a lot of individuals in the group were going to have been in full risk shorts. Again, full risk shorts being signaled just about with any PTP structure, any good trend following system right around here. This is when volume and volatility really picked up back on the 14th of November. And that was a position that one could have held pretty much this entire way down. Now, depending on the baseline that one is using, as you guys can see here, actually, we did receive a false early exit signal from the baseline. And then we would have been able, though, to re-enter that trade on this candle. Now, I was actually gone for for the entire weekend. I left on Friday. I just returned last evening. And so I haven't done a whole lot of active trading. I didn't do really any active trading over the last 4 days, and that's okay because overall I don't think the market conditions were very good to be trading in. Overall, I think the best position was to be flat. However, I did return last night in time to do my evening scan, put on one new trade, close out a few profitable BitMEX alt trades that I had held open over the weekend. Very, very happy with those actually, as they kind of as they moved down, trailing stop losses were hit deep into profit on those. So ended up averaging about 10 to 15% profit on those trades. Quite happy with that. Coming home to profit. I really like that. Adding to my BTC overall position. Now, overall, my risk profile is flat on Bitcoin. So flat in the fact that I am hedged with a short. I'm not really participating in the long gains on this whatsoever, which is exactly where I want to be with my portfolio. I don't buy early trending signals. I wait for strong confirmation of trending signals, and I wait to make sure that it is a movement that is concise with my strategy. Now, my strategy is not throwing up any long signals at this point in time. This still would be a reversal trade. One could have taken a one confirmation trade based on Minx and the baseline potentially yesterday. That would actually have been a two confirmation trade. Now, that's depending on whether or not you're using the baseline. If you're not using a baseline in your strategy, then it would just be a one confirmation trade. Keep in mind, most likely, if any of your other indicators were signaling to go long, I would caution you to make them a little less sensitive, because getting full trending long signals on yesterday's candle is not a very healthy trending signal, in my opinion. But again, it's your own strategy. You back test it as you want. Do as thou wilt, but it harm none. But anyways, we'll see where today's daily candle close is going to be. We are not going to be getting a trend. Well, actually, we don't have to wait unless something massively changes, unless we just get an absolute rocket explosion. And that would shift the dynamics anyways, because then that would be pretty much too late to enter. We'd be waiting for a retrace at that point in time. But at this point in time, we're not getting any trending signals. If we take a look down at commodity channel index, we are still trading below zero. If we take a look at Wada explosion, we are actually still seeing a red bar. However, if individuals were looking for their second, or actually third at this point in time, exit signal, it would be right here with Wada explosion printing a red column below the explosion level. We do have a falling explosion level right now, which typically means that our indicators need to have a reset. Therefore, in my opinion, what we can appropriately classify this is a reactionary movement off the bottom. Can this lead to a strong uptrend? Yes, absolutely it can. This is how uptrends start, but we don't have any of those confirmations as it is right now. Therefore, in my opinion, most likely the smartest movement to do, and what I actually referenced earlier, what I did with my position, was actually fading this particular movement, So I established a small short position as we moved up, did not throw my risk profile too far out of balance. Overall, still overwhelmingly hedged on Bitcoin and absolutely flat with the hedge that I've had open for quite a long time. So, and I think that's just one of the most important things, and why I talk about hedging so much, and why I talk about the absolute necessity to be on some form of platform where you have access to margin, where you have the ability to short sell and long Bitcoin. I actively promote, or I actively encourage individuals to learn to trade on a platform where they can long and short at the same time. I do not encourage people to actually start their Bitcoin trading journey somewhere simple, somewhere like Coinbase, where they can only go long. Coinbase is fine if you don't want to take the onus of having your own personal custody be your own personal custody, which in my opinion, a lot of people are going to be like that, and that's absolutely fine. But again, I'm a big advocate of cold storage. I keep my cold storage on my Ledger Nano X. I use Crypto Tag now for my backup seed phrase, and those are the security solutions, and one of the original reasons why I got into cryptocurrency in the first place. But I actively encourage individuals to learn to trade on a platform with access to margin, with access to going both long and short. Some are going to view that as more difficult. And maybe that's potentially true, but that's where you want to learn, because you're going to be expanding into other markets. It's highly unlikely that if you want to be a serious trader, you're only going to be trading Bitcoin for the rest of your life. So you're going to want to expand into Forex markets. You're going to want to expand into stocks. You're going to want to expand into other markets. And because of that, you want to learn the right way. Would you rather learn the easy way and then get okay at that, and then later on when you want to up your skills, now you're very, very confused and you have to go back to the drawing board? Or would you prefer to put in the work now as individuals are learning to trade, or as individuals are learning to trade the right way now, a consistent way for the future, and just learn the right way like the first time that they learn? That way they don't have to go back and relearn bad habits. They don't have to go back go back and unlearn bad habits. They don't have to go back and relearn or freshly learn the proper way to trade on the proper platforms, which any professional platform is going to be giving you access to both going long and short at the same time. I would generally not trade on any asset that I could only go long on, so that rules out a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges. Anyways, moving right along. That's about it. It's fairly simple. We've got a lot of intraday volatility. We'll go down and look at some lower time frames and see what PTP might have signaled on lower time frames. Again, anything on lower time frames is going to be defaulting or subsequent to, and by that I mean lower risk, lower position size than whatever you're going to be doing on the daily, because remember, the daily is what's going to be accounting for the majority of your profits as we continue to rack these trades up year after year. But I have nothing wrong with individuals taking lower time frame trades. We're going to be doing lower time frame trading for the BTC Brawl just because we are interested in winning, and that is sometimes what we have to delve into. So we'll kind of be aware of the higher or the lower hit rate that we're going to be having, and just hope that our community profits can overcome that. That's just what we're going to be. That's just what we're going to have to do, because I've already looked at the edges of other groups that we're going to be competing against. I've already looked at potential ways that the rules can be used to influence the one's individual trading to benefit basically their win outcome. There are unfortunately certain ways that one can maliciously attempt to influence results, and so you kind of have to prepare in advance to have an active strategy that accounts for those and attempts to beat them out as much as possible, because we trade to win, guys. Okay. Let's look over here at the chat real quick. Tom, Crypto Newbie says, hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Almost there. No water on the daily. That is correct. Cripple's going to make us rich. Daniel Cook. A good start to your day. FX is in a deep freeze for the holiday. That is correct. Wally says, I really wanted to go long, but I didn't get the signal. Turns out Jedi mind tricks do not work on WADA. That is correct. Do I have a top 10 or top 20 altcoin list for long term? I think that one of those already exists. It's going to be on CoinMarketCap. So if you are looking to be a casual investor and just pick up top tier altcoins, then you're going to be shopping by market cap. You're going to be shopping by market cap. And most of the coins nowadays that are on the top 10 list are pretty are well-established coins. They've got firm funding, they've got firm projects, they've got firm development, all of those things that you would be looking for in being a casual investor of cryptocurrency. There's another way to look at it, which is that if you actually look at the large crypto gains that individuals are looking to try to achieve out of trading, altcoins, which is typically what individuals want, then there's a lot to be said for, the tried and true stock method of buying companies that are going to IPO and then selling as soon as they IPO. And, that is a strategy in cryptocurrency as well, attempting to accumulate coins before listings on lower tier exchanges, attempting to get in on ICOs or IEOs prior to the fact as well as you can. That's a strategy that I don't really comport to. It's a little too high risk for me. Individuals are going to be, individuals can attempt to do that as they like. So for me, I'm pretty tentative on altcoin exposure. I'm pretty tentative. I have a few holdings, but my altcoin holdings are actually pretty slim, man. What I've noticed, especially over the last year or so, is that, if you actually look at the underlying USD values of altcoins, they tend to mostly track, Bitcoin. For the majority. Now, there are outliers, of course, but for the most part, you're not going to be able to even trade those. You have to ask yourself, okay, if you see alt USD values going up and you can't long the direct alt USD market, and all you have is that triangular arbitrage between the alt, the alt to BTC, then you have to ask yourself, is your money not just better spent shorting Bitcoin? It's, because now you're adding a layer of complexity. Now, there are lots of ways to think about this, lots of ways to attempt to derive an edge from the market, but I kind of leave that to individuals. Da Vinci, thank you so much for the donation, my good friend. And he asks if I can check BTT USDT. Sure, man. Let's go take a look at Mr. BTT. I'm going to assume it is moving up with the rest of the dollar pairs. Yes. BTT USDT. So assuming that one could have shorted this, we would have gotten that exit signal to short. This looks identical to the Bitcoin chart minus the really big explosion here to the upside. This would be yesterday on yesterday's candle, could have been a one confirmation long signal. And again, falling right into that BTC USD. This is still going to be, for me, in reversal territory, not trend confirmation signal, which is the signals that I trade. The only other thing here that we could be looking at is Parallax. By the way, didn't mention this. I did end up publishing Parallax right here. I published it last night. TradingView actually had a slight issue with how I published it last night, so I did have to fix a few things, and I republished it this morning. To the best of my knowledge, they're totally fine with the way that it's published now. You tricky TradingView, you. So premium members can request to be. Right now, it's still it's open for beta testers. So if you are a premium member, you can send an email to support@crackingcryptocurrency.com to get added to that list. You do have to be a premium member, so if you're not, please don't try. And we'll be releasing this live for all premium members after a week or two of beta testing. But I'm pretty happy with it, pretty happy with the results that we've gotten. You guys can go and read the full description of how to use this, how to adjust the settings. The strategy is fairly simple. Those who are familiar with the way that we trade will be able to identify this very quickly if they're going to be using it as an initiator or a confirmer. And one signal that I do go over is, of course, the same thing that we're seeing on BTC USD. Or pretty much all of the dollar pairs right now, which is when Parallax goes into its extreme. As we can see right here, it goes below the lower dotted line and then does cross back above. That can be considered as a potential reversal signal. Again, you want to be adding confirmation. So with Minx giving you the confirmation over here, one could have potentially taken that as a reversal signal. That would be a 2 confirmation reversal signal. So potentially adding to the risk exposure on that particular trade. Again, we're not focusing on reversal trades so much as a group at the moment. We're really focused on building out our core strategies, mentoring our students, and really building out our database online and our online learning academy. So and adding reversal trades or adding discretionary rules-based trades will come later on when we have more time to focus on that. When we have more time to apply testers to this and really apply the best strategies that we can. Really take everything I've learned and then systemize, proceduralize it and make it systemic and make it algorithmic. Am I going to get my free hex? Snapshot is in a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really educated on hex. Focusing on other things at the moment. I haven't heard anything about hex that really makes me excited. There's probably an edge and a strategy in that, but it's not something that I'm actively involved in or really care about, to be quite honest with you. I'm sorry. Anyways, so Mr. Da Vinci, we're still in reversal territory. There's nothing really here that stands out to me besides outside of what we already talked about with BTC USD. Potentially a 1 confirmation long signal, potentially a 2 confirmation reversal signal on yesterday's daily close. I think if one is in a winning position, one should hold it open. Let's see here. If I would have taken a 1 confirmation long signal, what would I have been shooting for? If I took a 1 confirmation long signal, I would have been shooting for targets around 00033.1, 00035.8, 00038.5 with a stop loss of 00026.3 is where I would have been shooting for. That wick down today would have almost tagged that stop loss, but not quite. So you'd have been safe on that. And we are about halfway there to the first take profit. Okay, so let's go down to the 12-hour time frame on BTC USD. I want to get over here to Ethereum in just a few minutes and talk about that, as well as XRP, which is my active trade. Also want to show my open P&L on my active trades. So let's see what we have for... So here is here's the danger. Here's your 1 confirmation long signal on the 12-hour chart. That would have set you up for a very nice stop loss hunt because, again, you only have 1 confirmation on that trade. And then as we kind of progress over here, we do have, let's see here, on this 12-hour close right here, which will be closing tonight's daily candle close, we will have a 12-hour long signal. Of course, Parallax has not flipped bullish. That's going to be a completely separate indicator. It is rising. It is on the movement up, of course, as the market is trending sideways. But again, I'm really not overall subjectively excited by this movement. I view it right now as what I think it properly is. Of course, guys, all we have to do is kind of zoom out or take a look at really any other chart like the weekly or the monthly and see that we are in a very bearish trend. We are in a very bearish trend. That means reversal longs are not the thing to take. We wait until the trend subsides. We wait until a strong bullish trend emerges, and that is when we can begin entering into bullish trends. Of course, we have the minor capitulation or hash ribbons indicator over here. And and we talked about this last week. We are still in the capitulation phase of miners. We can still see here that as far as the data from Quandl can show, that hash rate is still below difficulty, meaning miners, there is still intense selling pressure for miners. We still have not gotten with the very simple moving average strategy that we have kind of paired with this hash ribbon strategy. We still haven't gotten confirmation of price action turning bullish yet. This is largely just a reactionary movement off the bottom. So I wouldn't be extremely excited about the legs of this movement to the upside. Can we see a retest of 77, 78? Yes, we can. That's actually going to tag the stop loss on my short position that I've begun establishing this morning. But overall, remember guys, when the market is macro bearish, you short corrections, you short pumps. You don't look to long pumps, especially you don't look to long pumps near their tops. I think that is the wrong maneuver, and experience and wisdom has shown that to be true over and over and over again. I think, could this be the early turning around of price? Yes, absolutely it could, but I don't see any indications that it is. And therefore, for that reason, I'm going to stay mostly flat. I'm going to be looking to add shorts onto this movement as we go. And that will remain my bedrock until the trend shifts, until we get strong confirmation of a trend shift. Because often the market does not V-bottom right out of a massive correction. Unfortunately, we are entering into a quite bearish environment. Okay, getting back over to the 12-hour. With that being said, individuals with 12-hour structures can look to potentially take a signal here. I don't have a lot of subjective conviction in that one. I do feel that that will likely be a loser, but again, there it is on the table if one is trading the 4-hour time frame. One would have gotten a 4-hour long signal on the previous 4-hour candle close, so one would have been able to take advantage of some 4-hour volatility there. Already hitting take profit 1, not quite take profit 2 yet. You would have a further set of take profit targets at 7706 and 7900 on the 4-hour time frame. Your stop loss does need to be at break even right now. You need to move that stop loss up to about 7316.50 and wait. 2-hour time frame would have done you a little bit better, as it often does. Again, in my opinion, the best tradable time frame that is not the daily is going to be the 2-hour with Bitcoin's volatility. Did get a 2-hour long signal over here, right around 72.57. And how has that trade played out so far? We've hit 2 of 3 take profit targets. So your stop loss needs to be either at break even or you need to set a trailing stop at this point in time. And you've got a further take profit target sitting around 77.07. I'd be happy if we went up to 77.07. That would give me another fill and not hit my stop loss. All right. And of course, we can see, I want to go look down and just look at a little bit of price action on BTC USD. Something that people are talking about, of course, is a very lower time frame head and shoulders pattern right here. This is what individuals are talking about. Of course, we have our neckline right here that we have broken right around the $7,400 region. So I think that if anybody is looking to go long out of this scenario, I'd like to see a retest of that from a price action perspective. We do have this pattern right here. This was occurring pretty much right as this movement largely happened as I was asleep in UTC time. But we were, I was up and watching this kind of maneuver right here. We do have something that traders call the J hook, or that I call the J hook. And this is where we have a flat market, a steep dive down, which is the liquidity grab generally, and then a big, and then a big run to the upside, which is a J hook pattern. The only problem with that is that most individuals are usually going to consider that a ranging pattern, which means that one should be using something like reversion to the mean strategy right now, which I still believe in. So we'll take a look at reversion to the mean strategies here in just a little bit before we flip over to Ethereum and Forex. But in this case, it did prove to be a bullish pattern, which is only true about 45% of the time. So not the best success rate on that. More of a coin toss, and we always look for coin toss patterns right here. Now, for the other analysts in the group, some other analysts in the group did play this a little bit differently. For example, I know Fibonacci, who I talked to this morning, did actually long from 6,900 to 7,330. That's where he ended up taking his profit. He was looking at fading the weekly high, but he has of a little bit more bullish perspective. I believe, I don't want to misquote him, but I believe he is again looking to re-add to his longs on retests of the lows around here. I believe around the 7,000, 7,100 region. But that was prior to him. I remember that one thing he did say this morning when we were talking on our analysis team was if the $7,400 weekly high did not get broached, which it did. So I'll have to kind of confer with him after the show and kind of see where he is sitting at. But again, as far as his trading and his mentoring going, very, 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 very happy. Alex and Da Vinci absolutely crushing it over the weekend while I was gone. So it's just very, very good to know to run a community of traders, to run an educational community, and know that I don't have to be here all the time, that individuals are learning to trade their own strategies, that individuals are seeing the benefits of the mentoring, receiving the benefits of following along with the analysts that we have handpicked, and very, very pleased with Alex and Da Vinci's results so far. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much. We'll actually go take a look at their results over here potentially. Let's see if we can't bring this open. Go into studio mode. There we go. All right, so here we have my active and open trades, still short on FZ19. Here is my long position on XRP USD. I got an average fill of around 22.08, sitting at about 2.36% in profit. FZ19 has been doing okay. We've actually already hit my first take profit on FZ19. It's retraced just a little bit and is still trading below my entry at 20.88. So about 2.71% in profit. LTC BTC is a little different. That's a positional trade, so that'll be held open for quite a while unless market conditions significantly change. Up about 23.21% just this week in total P&L. So it's been a good week. Here are my BCH and TRX trades that I ended up closing out. Again, averaged about 15% profit on those two trades together. Here's my previous DGD trade. I got about 20% on that. With only 2 losses in there scattered earlier in the week. Let's go check out Mr. Alex. Here we are. Alex right now is doing an absolutely incredible job. He did an amazing job in week 3, pulling in about 72.98 raw trade ROI, not adjusted for position size, and about 30% so far just this current week. And Mr. Da Vinci over here doing a fantastic job as well, 56.47% in week 3, and bringing in a staggering 75.67 raw trade ROI on his DNT and band trades combined together, getting a stop out on 1 USDT. So overall, really, really, really good in the group. I'm really, really pleased with where they took the group and with their guidance in their trading over the weekend. So really, really pleased. We're doing fantastic. All right, back into the live scene. We are getting a little bit of selling pressure right now, as we've seen over the majority of today. The buying pressure has been quite intense. But again, if we just zoom out a little bit and kind of look on the macro, we have had a liquidity grab above these highs. We did get this nice short squeeze. Is there a potential we can get another short squeeze up to tag these highs of around 7,700, 7,600? Yes, that is a possibility. But again, I still think the fade is the correct setup at this point in time because I do think that consolidation is what's most likely to occur here rather than some magical V bottom out of the bottom. So some consolidation, reversion to the mean strategy is probably going to be working quite well here in this range. And to take a look at that, let's take one quick look at volatility expander on the 4-hour time frame, which is what we do, to kind of get a good beat. And of course, volatility expander on the 4-hour time frame. Now that we have relatively bottomed out, what are we going to be doing for reversion to the mean strategy? We're going to be short selling anything that goes above the upper line. We're going to be buying anything that goes below the lower line until we get a shift in trend while we're still in consolidation and volatility remains quite low on the macro time frame, meaning we are in that short sell area right now. Anything above 74.13 is to be short sold back down to 74.13, 72.01, and 69.90. Anything below 69.90 is bought up to the previous targets. Keep that in mind as we continue to progress along, and this will be the strategy that I will be utilizing for discretion over the next few weeks until we get a significant shift in trend. And again, remember, with reversion to the mean strategy, risk management is absolutely critical because you will be wrong, very, very wrong on one trade, and that's going to be the last trade that doesn't work, that does not revert to the mean. And that's generally the trade that's going to establish us into a nice, strong bullish trend, which most likely means that that evening you'll be putting on a long-term long or a long-term short, whatever direction the market happens to be moving into. All right, it is 12:40, so let's switch over into Ethereum real quick. And then we'll get into Forex, guys. Taking a look at Ethereum on the daily over here. Again, underperforming Bitcoin on the movement to the upside. That's why we've actually seen some volatility or some positive movements in my ETH-Z19 short trade. All right. Taking one quick pause right here real quick. Looking over at the chat. Hello, my friend from Russia. Good to see you, my friend. Jay, win turkey discount. Thanks will be Kevin. I'm going to sneeze. All right. Win turkey discount is going to be on Friday, my good friend. Thank you, Tenacious V. Yeah, Andrew, exactly. When you realize that you can average 20% a month on your trading with a system like this, work starts to become a waste of time with projection. You know, I want to caution you against projection, okay? Projection can be a very, very dangerous tool. It can be a very dangerous thing. Often when we start doing very, very well, we project, well, okay, if I just maintain at this level of income and project over the next like X amount of years, that can be good when you have a realistic amount of income and you've brought that in for a while. If you're new to that level of income, it can be a bad thing. Just focus on what's in front of you is my biggest goal. But plan for the future, man. Plan for the future. Again, I've talked about this before. I have a fairly substantial dividend income portfolio that I've cultivated over the last many years. That's my retirement right there. That is what brings in passive income. I have real estate investment that I've invested in. That is passive income. I'm actively interested in STOs that pay dividends. That's another source of passive income that I'm very, very, very interested in. As soon as I find a nice lending service for BTC that I feel I can trust, I will be earning passive income with that. DeFi is something that I'm very, very interested in, but I'm not actively involved in at the moment. So, earning passive income on DAI, I think is fantastic. All of these things, I think that building up strong passive income streams, reducing our expenses and living more frugally is the pathway to profit, is the larger pathway to profit. And trading is just one of those things, those fantastic things where it doesn't matter how much money you have, as long as you can return good results in this market and spread that out to other markets, you can do very, very well in life. You can do very, very well in life because this is a field where most individuals come in here swinging around and they don't know what they're doing and they lose money. But the followers of this channel, the members of our group, they understand the difference and they're building systems that will be with them for their entire life. But I do agree with your sentiment, Andrew. Once you've put in the work to become a consistently profitable trader and you have something that works, so many doors open up and it really allows you to change your life as I've changed mine. I just want to share that with people. Caution, everyone. I'm already there. Amen, brother. Get a little drink of water here, and we're gonna. What's interesting with Ethereum, we're on the daily here, so let's switch down to the 4-hour again. We are in that reversion to the mean area right here, trading above 152.94, 152.95 with 5-cent spreads on ByBit. So we are in that reversion to the mean, taking price back down to 147.80, 142.66. I think is probably the appropriate move there. On the daily time frame, getting rid of volatility expander and just looking at the baseline right now. We are above the baseline. Again, we don't have that trending long signal. We're still in one confirmation reversal territory. Nothing here to get excited or call home to mom about. I still think the right move here is to fade the pop. Just again, apply low risk when fading pops. Apply low risk when taking counter reversal trades. Because again, you're going to be wrong one time, and that one time is going to be probably fairly substantial. So you need to limit your position size and not be greedy so that your loss is not dramatic, because often that's going to be the night where you're establishing a counter positional trade on the daily time frame in the opposite direction of what you were previously trading on the intraday time frame. Beans on toast, baby. Path to riches. You're right. You're absolutely right, man. You are absolutely correct. I am not ashamed to say that there were quite a few years when I was establishing myself as a trader where I ate a lot of ramen. You know, there's no shame in that. I reduced my expenses. I don't go out to eat if I don't have to. I limit my entertainment expenses. Any way that I can to save money and be frugal. I don't buy extremely expensive clothing. I don't go shopping very much. I focus I don't give, here's something that some people might consider extreme. I don't give birthday presents, right? You know what I do with my kids? I don't give them stuff, especially if they've been bad. I see parents do this all the time. Parents, like, birthdays come around, Christmas comes around, and they're like, I have to purchase my child some material object to show them that I love them. No, you don't. No, you don't. Like, that's probably the worst thing that you can do, especially if, like most American parents, your kid is confused and entitled and upset and being inundated with what they're learning at public school. You really need to get away from that. What I do instead is I make vouchers for my kids for my time, because unfortunately, one of the bad things is I'm building a company. I'm spending a lot of time educating people, spending a lot of time trading, although active trading, I don't actually spend much time a day doing that because of the way that I trade. But I spend a lot of time mentoring and working on my company and doing media production and all these things. But time with my family is absolutely critical and essential. So I always make hours out of my day, every single day, to spend time with my family. And one thing, so what I do for holidays, now Christmas, I do buy stuff, right? Or I like to make stuff, right? So I have a hobby of leatherworking. So, like, for example, the belt that I have on right now, I make belts, I've made wallets, I make purses, I make all kinds of stuff. It's just a nice hobby that I have. I like to do leather work. I've been doing that for about 5 years. I really, really enjoy it. It really calms me down. It's really therapeutic, and I enjoy it. Earn a little passive income on the side from that too. Or I guess that's active income. But for example, like, I will make my kids, Christmas time, I make them, items. They're always kind of wanting something. It's pretty high demand for my family around here. Don't really have the time every year to make something that I want. But for birthdays, I do vouchers for time. And what I allow my kids to do is select any activity that they want to do. And it's just me and them, and we go do this activity. And that gives us time to bond. That gives me time to talk to them. That gives them time to talk to me, gives me time to listen. And it's worked out really well. I have a fantastic relationship with my kids. They are super smart. They are super talented. That takes work and that takes time to raise a child appropriately, to really put in the effort and not be and not have that anxiety that you have to buy your kids stuff. You just have to, and the same people that do that often feel like they have to buy themselves things. Like, you don't, like, I'm building wealth to pass down to my family, and so that I can maintain my financial independence. That's just the way the world works. And if you're smart with your money, you're generally smart in other aspects of life as well. So I advise individuals to focus less on being frickin' rich and focus more on, do you have enough money to provide you with what you need to survive in a sustainable fashion? And that's what's really important, because making money is not the point. And that's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I've just been around so long, and I've done so many different things, and I've worked with so many people. I've worked with extremely wealthy people. I've worked with extremely poor people, and above around $100,000 income a year, right? Like, there's a lot of science behind this. I wouldn't say science, but there's a lot of studies behind this. Like, if, as long as you're making around $100,000 a year, $80,000 a year, life doesn't really get a whole lot better with more money, right? Generally, life becomes more stressful. If you're chasing that money, there's nothing wrong with locking in a good, solid $80,000 to $90,000 income a year, and you can do that with trading. It's not hard. Ketchup on spaghetti noodles. Oof, man. Leatherworking skill, 375 out of 375. We got spam and eggs. Yeah, freedom rich is the point of this. You're absolutely right, man. Okay, let's see here. Moving right along. Oh man, we talked about that too long. Let's get into some Forex analysis today. The Forex market has not been kind to us in the year of 2019. But that's all right. Let's go take a look at the Aussie yen. Let's take a look here. No long signal on the Aussie yen right now. It's looking interesting, but we are not there in the slightest. This was the last nice trade that I got to take on the Aussie yen. Was in for a piece of this as well. Haven't been doing a whole lot of active Forex trading, but the Aussie yen is one of my favorite pairs. It just tends to move quite nicely. I find that there's not a whole lot of chop with the Aussie yen, but there's no active trade here right now. Aussie Kiwi, similarly, we are kind of coming to the end, I think, of this bearish trend. We actually got an exit signal on yesterday's candle from our primary indicator. Nothing really else to say there. No reversal trades for the Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Canadian is actually gave us a short signal 2 candles ago. This was a confirmed short signal over here. So one could have taken the Aussie Kiwi short, or the Aussie CAD, excuse me, the Aussie CAD. One could have taken the Aussie CAD short about 2 days ago, holding that active position open. No exit signal right now. Aussie dollar gave us an exit signal on yesterday's candle. So had us in for this trade right here. Doesn't look like the most profitable trade. That was a pretty squeaky tight margin, but exit signal right here in profit at the least. Canadian Swissy gave us a long signal on yesterday's candle, so that's good. So Canadian Swissy active long. Canadian yen, no trade yet on the Canadian yen. Swissy yen, no trade. Euro Aussie, no trade on the Euro Aussie. Euro Canadian. Euro Canadian had you in for a short, for a 2-conf short right here, but nothing quite yet. Nothing quite yet on the Euro CAD. Euro Swissy, nothing. Nothing on the Euro Swissy. Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi did get you set up with a short trade right here. So active short on the Euro Kiwi. Euro Pound. Let's see. Nothing on the Euro Pound. A lot of chop on the Euro Pound. Euro Yen. Setting us up for a long, but we're not quite there yet. Euro Dollar. Did set you up for the short trade here. Did set you up for the short trade here in the Euro Dollar. Taking a movement to the downside as we speak. So establishing that nice short position over here. 1 day of drawdown and now price moving in your favor. Pound Kiwi looks like garbage. Stay away from that. Pound CAD the same. Pound Swissy the same. No. Pound Swissy is going to be a long. It's going to be a long today. There's a long on the Pound Swissy. Of course, the markets are freaking closed. Well, they're going to be closing. So remember, any positions that you put on, you're going to be hung out to dry. Going to be hung out to dry until markets are closed to... No. The Forex markets will be open. I'm trying to think when they reopen. Should be okay. December 1st. What if they want to go shopping? No loophole, my friend. Let's see what we got coming up tomorrow. Nothing high risk coming up tomorrow. USD, Chicago PMI. Who cares? Yeah, CAD and the yuan. Yeah, CAD GDP coming out on Friday. Pound yen. Almost along, but not quite. Pound dollar, nothing. Pound Aussie, nothing. Pound pairs are getting beaten up right now, or chopped. I'll just say they're getting chopped. You had a Kiwi dollar long yesterday. Looks like you're going to be closing that one out in a loss potentially. We'll wait to see what the daily close looks like. Kiwi CAD getting kind of chopped up as well. Good one on the Kiwi Swissy, long signal right here. Long signal on the Kiwi Swissy right here. Kiwi Yen long signal 2 days ago right here. Dollar CAD system, no. Dollar Swissy, long signal right here that you would have entered here. So, you're in for a decent dollar Swissy trade right now. Dollar Yen, similarly, nope, just missed it. Aussie Swissy, choppy. And dollar Yuan, do we got anything yet? Nope, no strong trend on the dollar Yuan. Probably the most sentiment-ridden pair out there right now. So there were a couple overall, I mean, overall, the Forex markets aren't super hot right now. But there were a couple good trades on there that we just pointed out. Pound yen, Andy. I mean, it's definitely sat in consolidation for long enough. Been getting chopped up left and right. Even on that short trade, ATR on this is super low too. I just wouldn't touch it, man. It's just not worth it. There's other opportunities out there. I see what you're seeing. You'd almost have to take a outside the qualifying line trade on this one. Always 1x short for riches. Stock market hot. You know, that's going to be something that I'm probably going to, at the same time I put out Forex, I'll probably put out option strategies for traditional markets. And just give you guys a little bit of a hint for those of you guys who are a little stock market savvy or a little option savvy. You know, I do have the strategy that I like employing in the stock market, besides just trend following trading, which works very, very well in the stock market, is going to be using options to gain passive income. And this is going to be, it's really, it's actually, it's not hard. It's not easy, but it just takes discipline, which is selling covered calls, ITM, and selling, slightly OTM, and selling puts that you have the cash to cover. So just covered spreads. It's not really a spread because you're not long, because you're not selling puts and calls simultaneously, but you're revolving. And as soon as you get assignment, then you sell covered calls. Simple strategy. Depending on your capital, you can make 2% a week. It's pretty easy. Or more, depends on your risk assessment. But no crazy FDs, OTM. No crazy OTM FDs for cracking cryptocurrency, guys. All right, guys, it is 12:59, and we're going to be taking a short commercial break. When we return, we're going to be talking about Upbit getting hacked for $50 million worth of Ethereum, or was it an inside job? We're going to talk about South Korea moving ahead with their new bill to legalize cryptocurrency, and we're going to talk about cryptocurrency and national insecurity, as well as China's banking sector showing signs of strain. Good news for the Bitcoin bulls out there, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll also look at your chart requests, and we're going to open up that chest right after the break, guys, on DLive. So for those DLivians out there, now is your opportunity, guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure to throw them in the chat, and I will see you guys in just a few moments. This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. And we're back, guys. Thank you so much for hanging through the break. And we've got a fantastic second hour for you. Checking back in with Mr. Bitcoin right here real quick. We did kind of top out here recently around the 76.60 area, currently trading around the 75. Where's my contacts? Why aren't they working? The 75.30 area, guys. So pretty nice volatility for the intraday traders today. Of course, we can keep it pretty simple going back here, to the 4-hour time frame. Throwing on our volatility expander. Makes life very simple for us. All right. So, we've got some good news to talk about today. Some very, very interesting stuff. And hopefully my contacts are going to work. How you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. Eddie Soriano says, V-Chain baby, and Buy the Dip Coin says, Roku stock is like the Bitcoin of Wall Street. You know, I've been told that GBTC is like the Bitcoin of Wall Street. But yes, Roku stock is not my favorite meme coin. Excuse me, not my favorite meme stock. AMD, a pretty popular meme stock of mine. I've just been hanging out on Wall Street bets too much. All right, let's go to the top story of the day, which is going to be Upbit. So, some $50 million worth of Ethereum was stolen overnight following an attack on the South Korean exchange Upbit. At least that's what they would have you think. Around 1 p.m. Korean time, 342,000 Ethereum tokens were moved from the Upbit hot wallet and sent to an unknown wallet, which I actually have on Etherscan over here. We can actually see that the Ethereum is still sitting in that unknown wallet, worth about $52,661,169.01 as of current value. It has already been flagged. We have seen a few pending transactions already. All of the this is good. 0.00001,337 Ether, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 transactions, all sent around the same time, starting about 3 hours ago. Outgoing, or no, those are in transactions. My bad. In transactions. My bad. I thought those were finally outgoing transactions. My bad. No, don't call anybody. Okay. 7 pending transactions. But here we can see the. No, not pending. Come on now. There we go, this one. Here we have the original in from Upbit 3, as it is labeled. 342,000 Ether in one fell swoop right here. Sent about 15 hours and 2 minutes ago as of right now. So the Ethereum still sitting there, has not moved. Now, at this time, it's unknown how the hack occurred or the nature of the breach, but Upbit has now moved all of their Ethereum to cold storage while deposits and withdrawals are suspended for 2 weeks. Now, Upbit also assures its users that any losses will be covered by company funds via their insurance policy. The stolen Ethereum remains unmoved at this time, with all eyes in the industry and Ethereum community diligently watching what the hacker does next. This is so exciting, guys. So exciting. Now, Binance's CZ has commented and committed to helping the matter by freezing the funds should they be sent to Binance. Other exchanges will likely do the same, assuming the hacker doesn't make an effort to launder or mix the stolen Ethereum in an effort to obfuscate the coin's history, which of course he will. Now, the attacker was able to catch Upbit off guard as the large amount of Ethereum was vulnerable in a hot wallet, while Upbit was said to be between regularly scheduled cold storage transactions. Now, this theft, like many other high-profile exchange hacks in recent memory, points to a likelihood of an inside job. Another popular Southern Korean exchange, BitHum, was recently hacked for $17 million, and it also had signs of being an inside job. Other popular theories, of course, include an attack driven by a state actor, namely North Korea, and their infamous state-sponsored hackers as the likely culprits in the world of high-stakes crypto heists. Now, Whale Alerts shows that large amounts of OMG and XLM left Upbit as well and were moved to addresses associated with the BitMEX exchange, although this may be explained by large bag holders moving funds off of Upbit out of security concerns, not necessarily potentially linked to the direct hack itself. Make 7 up yours. Same with Upbit. ETH1 asks, why did they send the Ethereum to his address? They must just really like you. 1337 equals leet speak, you know. The game is afoot. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, we have popular commentator Joseph Young coming out saying that this does look like, let's see it. Where's the Joseph Young quote? Saying that this does look like, well, Joseph Young said that it looked like an inside job. And when we say inside job, again, I would really, I don't want to spin any wild and crazy conspiracy theories, but we know that North Korea has a state-sponsored cryptocurrency hacking program and initiative. So it would not be out of the question to know that, or to assume that that can be directly tied back to them. Whoa. Eli back. Thank you so much, my friend. Can I look at game BTC and USD? Looks very bullish. Absolutely, my friend. Let's go take a look at game BTC. Game BTC on the daily. Game BTC on the daily gave a long signal. We talked about this, I think, on the day. Game BTC gave its initial long signal over here, led to a beautiful rise up, retreat back into the buy zone. We have volatility expander on. Where's our baseline? Apparently, people are dying out in my kitchen. Look at that, just straight line up. Let's see here, man. Exit signal right here. No continuation signal so far, my friend. No continuation signal so far. Wadatar explosion would still have you in this trade. Commodity channel index would still potentially have you in this trade. Minx would have grabbed you this trade. Did not grab you this trade. And it's not telling you to get back in, my friend. So I cannot in good conscience recommend game BTC. 4-hour time frame. Kind of the same thing. We do get in right here at the beginning of the uptrend. We do get another entry right here. We get an exit. Is that an exit? Nope, no exit. So Minx does keep us in for this movement out again here. And then we do have a continuation signal on the 4-hour time frame right here. So continuation signal right here. And the only unfortunate thing about game, my friend, and again, my bias, might be incorrect. We do see that nice resistance, test of resistance, lower high or higher low, retest of resistance as well. So you can take your chances with the breakout trade. The only thing that typically concerns me about these trades is on altcoins, when we see this big wick, we know that's exactly where a lot of people bought in, and they're going to be looking to offload their coins at break even. So can we see stabs up into this area? Absolutely. Could we see a strong trend out of this emerge, or another strong trend emerge out of this? Absolutely. But on the daily, I don't see the signs of it. I don't see the signals for it. On the 4-hour, you're getting some decent signals. So potentially with the volatility of game, you might want to be a little bit more active with game. Let's go look at game USD. See how much money we're actually making. And Game USD looks pretty similar. It is outperforming. So holding your so this comes into the question. So can you trade Game USD directly? To the best of my knowledge, no, you cannot, meaning you can only trade it via proxy triangular arbitrage via BTC. So meaning you're not going to actually realize those gains because you can't sell Game back into USD. You'd only be getting, at this point in time, more BTC. And holding your money in Game, though, I would say you would have done a lot better than holding your money in BTC USD. But you have to ask yourself, is it easier to just long Game, to grab Game and accumulate more BTC and have a cheaper BTC that you're moving back into, or to just short BTC USD? It's kind of the question that I often wonder myself. So Game USD on the daily. Again, very similar. No re-entry signal on the daily, my friend. The 4-hour is going to do you a little bit better. So we are at resistance right now on both the BTC and USD pairs. This would be an area where I'd be wanting to take profit. And let's see if we can get the breakout. Be the only way I can see to trade this right now. So seeing how price responds to being above. Let me go back to Game BTC. Above 163. Above 163 sats, and we'll see if we can get another rise up into this area. Until then, I'd be pretty cautious on Game, man. But that's just me. I am naturally hesitant when I look at altcoins. But my best of luck to you, man. You do have a knack for picking the winners, Eli. All right. Now, on the heels of that North Korea story, or excuse me, South Korea story, but I repeat myself. Is from CoinSpeaker, and South Korea is moving ahead with a new bill to legalize cryptocurrency. So South Korea's National Assembly has passed a bill to create a regulatory framework that will govern digital assets in the country. And this further highlights how the Asian world is continuing to embrace and legitimize cryptocurrency technology as opposed to some other countries, unfortunately. Now, the new bill, drafted by the National Policy Committee, aims to classify crypto tokens and other virtual currencies as digital assets. Now, sources say that this move by South Korea is an effort to create a foundation for the operation and growth of businesses that run off cryptocurrency. The bill sets rules for crypto-related businesses operating within South Korea, such as the requirement for exchanges to obtain certification from state regulators. Now, businesses operating in the crypto space will also be required to register under the new classification of digital asset business. Furthermore, these businesses will be mandated to align with international best practices concerning KYC and AML to fall within the rules and guidelines outlined by the FATF. Now, the tech-savvy nation of South Korea happens to have taken a friendly stance on the budding crypto industry, making it fertile ground for adoption and innovation. Now, while this does come in the form of regulatory and financial oversight, such as 2018's crackdown by police and tax authorities on major exchanges in the country, as well as the new FATF enforcement in September, leading to the delisting of certain altcoins, the positive side of this sort of regulatory legislation is that it offers clarity for businesses and projects alike looking to safely expand with easy-to-follow rules, as well as serving as a model to other nations to consider implementing in the case their own authorities are struggling to draft a regulatory framework of their own. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? You know, obviously, this is just now one thing to note that it does, due to South Korea's constitutional system, it is going to take a year for this to actually become law. So we do have one other. Yeah, the bill also has to be passed by the Judiciary Committee and on the main floor of the National Assembly before it can be passed into law. And as per South Korea's constitutional process, it takes about 1 year for the law to go into full effect. But still very good. And again, I still think that Western nations, unfortunately, are going to be seeing a lot of unfortunate capital and development flight as they continue to take a uncertain stance, while other countries continue to push forward with positive stances on cryptocurrency. But I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below or in the live chat if you are watching us live. DLive Restream exit scam. All right. Yeah, you're right. So Restream is not working on my YouTube chat. So let's go over here, over to my DLive. Thank you guys so much for the lemon donations, my good friend. Canna, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, and Restream chat was working just fine over here on DLive, but we're going to do our best to fix it right now. Actually, no, I probably can't fix it right now while we're live, but I'll do my best to fix it after the fact. So, but don't think that I've forgotten you guys. Let's get this chest opened up before we get into our next stories, and we will distribute these rewards. And Wendy, Parallax is not available for all premium members. You do need to get a hold of us, as I laid out in the announcement, for the premium members to get added as a beta tester if you are interested in such a thing. Distributing these DLive rewards right now, guys. All right, just distributed 55.9 lemons to our followers over here on DLive. Big winners being Wendy, Ricky T, Forza World, and man, Solar MKD. My contacts are really killing me right now. They are blurring the heck out of my life right now. Got to get this all figured out. But it's okay. All right. Back to the news. Maybe if I put some eye drops in, it would help. I'm probably just going to have to raise that monitor up so I can see it a little bit more clearly. Okay. Now, something that Alex shared with us this morning, which I think is pretty interesting, and this is coming from the Harvard Gazette. I don't think you're probably going to hear this on any other channel. This is about cryptocurrency and national insecurity, coming from National and World Affairs. So this was a simulation that was done by the Kennedy School. Just a second. So this was an exercise at the Harvard Kennedy School that explored the alleged dangers of what the U.S. considers hostile nations if they could be able to secretly send large sums of money internationally. Now, this simulated a White House situation room during a national crisis in the year 2021. Now, the scenario involves North Korea test firing a missile capable of delivering a nuclear warhead strike on the continental United States. The North Korean gambit is said to have taken Washington by surprise as the rogue state utilized a new Chinese digital currency to bypass the global banking system. And now the situation was titled Digital Currency Wars, a National Security Crisis Simulation. And this artificial drama brought together administration veterans, career diplomats, and academics to role-play a scenario in which U.S. authorities and global watchmen are rendered powerless in countering the rise of encrypted digital currency with the very dominance of the United States dollar coming into question. So faced with a situation that would normally be diffused by way of unilateral decision and a single phone call via the executive red phone, the roles of National Security Advisor, Treasury Secretary, and even the president's personal currency czar are all left scratching their heads with how to respond to the crisis, described by the CIA as a doomsday scenario within 6 to 8 months. This is in the simulation, not in real life, guys. Calm down. Don't run into the bunkers yet. Now, the dangers of digital currencies are hypothetically explored by this panel, discovering their decentralized networks that allow for the unmonitored movement of large sums of money. Now, the money is said to go on to enable cyber attacks, presumably impossible to date. Individual banks and even the SWIFT network is now vulnerable to cyber criminals being funded by non-traceable funds. They went on to contemplate the horrors of what America's future might look like if the dollar's economic dominance was indeed over, thanks in part to the rise of virtual currency and China being a competing superpower. Quote, the competitiveness of the United States dollar is a matter of national security, said the guy playing the role of assistant to the president for digital currencies. Now, this discussion attempted to cover alternatives to sanctions and whether the United States should develop its own digital currency as a counterbalancing force. Now, Ash Carter, playing the role of Secretary of Defense, kind of in a revisal of his previous role under the Obama administration, stated that we can't let stand the Chinese using the currency issue as a way of making inroads into what has traditionally been a strength of ours, he said, noting China's increasing sway throughout Asia and Africa. We have to counter it in some way. While the Secretary of State, played by Professor Nicolar Burns, described this as a matter of diplomacy, suggesting the president leans on China to mitigate the damage their digital currency has done to the U.S. financial hegemony. The Chinese have created a problem for us by taking away our leverage with sanctions, he says. Now, while shoring up the security of SWIFT was a major concern, others on the panel suggested not underestimating the technological revolution taking place here, and instead that they should embrace it by creating a digital currency of their own. Now, the scenario concluded with the National Security Advisor calling the president to deliver the bad news that they had no strategy and their financial coercion was rendered impotent. And the end call was said to be, quote, Mr. President, we need a strategy to resuscitate the United States' financial prowess, were the National Security Advisor's final words spoken in the exercise. So, I don't want to overstate this. I don't want to really blow this out of proportion, but these are the things that, I think a lot of individuals that are involved in cryptocurrency, don't look at matters the same way that nation states will. And this is exactly the way that a nation state is going to be looking at this. These are the contingencies that nation states are attempting to plan for. So when we kind of throw our hands up in the air and wonder why we're not getting the swift legalization and full adoption and Bitcoin in every street, Bitcoin in every hand, it's because they're concerned about this. Because, this states it very, very clear. It's not, this is not a egalitarian world we live in. A lot of individuals across the world are very upset with the dollar's hegemony and economic prowess. Obviously, the nation state of the United States and its citizens feel quite the opposite, like things quite the way that they are. So this is going to be a major reason why we're seeing this tiptoeing around the topic of virtual currency, because it does pose a threat to major nation states around the world in a way that it hasn't before. And would also, I say, be a reason why Asian nations have been very, very quick to adopt this. So we could really spin this into some massive conspiracy theories if we wanted to. And really, I don't even think you need to use the word conspiracy theories. You just have to look at nations are going to generally almost always act in their own best interest. And they're not really, really good at planning for the future of the impacts on their citizens, but they are fairly skilled, or at least proficient, in planning for the future of their own survivability as a nation or as a government entity looking forward into the future. So I think that's why we've seen a lot of nation states respond the way that they have. And I will say here, this is kind of funny, if you really read into this, it's like, basically they're saying that, North Korea just couldn't get the vectors all honed in appropriately until China created some digital currency to fund them, as if that was not possible prior to this. But there are measures in place to prevent. There are sanctions on North Korea and sanctions on Venezuela for supposed reasons. So, I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this, either in the comment section or in the live chat as we're discussing this. This is something that needs to be on the minds of individuals that live in the United States or that live in areas affected by the United States. And by that, I mean everywhere. Because these are the things that we're going to see attention played to. This is the way that we're going to see things marketed. We're going to see this, kind of national security thing. I think the whole terrorists and drugs thing, or argument that people trot out, even though we know that that's not a huge use of Bitcoin, I think can really play a strong role in, let me rephrase that. I think that highlighting the difference between Bitcoin as a traceable ledger and a centrally controlled central bank digital currency as an untraceable ledger, fully controlled by a nation state, is really the danger that this represents here. Because, for example, this is not necessarily a threat with Bitcoin, although the funds are unconfiscatable. There would be records of this funding on the Bitcoin network. Chainalysis has come a long way on Bitcoin, and some people are very pro that, some people are very anti that. But I think for the purposes of moving large sums of money, that is really what stands as the dominant market right now, as the dominant payment network. The dominant virtual payment network right now, of course, is Bitcoin. You have other alternatives such as Monero, but which, by the way, was just delisted from BitMEX, I believe, over regulatory concerns. So you have that. But, Bitcoin and a central bank digital asset, or a central bank digital currency, a CBDC, they're completely two different animals. Central bank digital currency is not going to be open, is not going to be auditable. And a lot of these concerns become much more pronounced when you have two competing nation states battling against each other, each with their own central bank digital asset. If you guys think that funding right now with the CIA is something to be concerned about, think of what a nation state can do with their own private, closed digital currency. The red Twitter button, you mean? No phone anymore. Now simulate the Department of Defense accounting for the missing $6 trillion. They do not want their centrally controlled SWIFT network to have any competitors or alternatives. SWIFT works in a unipolar world, but now with new superpowers on the rise, they have a self-interest in sovereign SWIFT of their own. You're right. North Korea just couldn't get their rockets off the launch pad until cryptocurrency started paying their engineers enough to properly calibrate vectoring subsystems. Now, potentially to add a little bit more fuel to the fire, or perhaps to put this into perspective, I also want to go take a look at the latest article from Mycelium's Media Flow. By the way, I highly recommend using Mycelium if you're going to be using an online hot wallet, or a mobile wallet, excuse me, that is. Now, 13% of China's lending banks or national lenders are considered high risk now by the People's Bank of China. And unfortunately, China has seen a wave of vicious bank runs lately, most likely related to political instability. Now, because of this, we talked about the repo market crisis here in America, but it is really nothing compared to China. China's interbank repo rates have absolutely surged, meaning banks are having to rely on deposits to fund themselves because key lending rates have been significantly cut. So the People's Bank of China recently did a stress test where 9 out of 30 major banks failed their stress test, and that was in the best case scenario. In the worst case scenario, more than half of China's banks failed. In the worst case scenario, more than half of China's banks failed their stress test for liquidity runs. With financial system worth about $40 trillion, that means in a worst case scenario, China has a $20 trillion problem on their hands in the form of liquidity. Now, let's not forget that the 4 largest banks in the world are Chinese. The ICBC has a net value of about $4 trillion, China Construction at about $3.4 trillion, Agribank of China at about $3.3, and the Bank of China at about $3.1. And China's central bank on Monday came out publicly and said that the banking sector is showing signs of strain, which in my opinion is a dramatic understatement of the fact. So about 20 trillion reasons to buy Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. 20 trillion reasons to buy Bitcoin. And with that being said, back over to the king. You guys know what that means. We made it. It's the last half hour, guys. All right, with some music for the occasion. Just leave you right there. Could I imagine the exit pump on Bitcoin if the Fed announces a digital dollar? I don't really think we'd see an exit pump on BTC if the Fed announces a digital dollar. You mean we can't just pick up the red phone and freeze their central bank? What do you mean diplomacy? A lot of folks would dump their tether and get into Bitcoin and then exit BTC for the digital dollar. I don't think that makes... I don't think so, Wendy. I don't think that people would mass exit Bitcoin for a digital dollar. It would be it'd be the same thing as just holding a dollar. There would be no appreciation. They would hold it stable. Most individuals are holding their Bitcoin either because they fundamentally believe in Bitcoin or they're speculating. So a digital dollar does not give you room to speculate. Unless you could speculate on Bitcoin through the digital dollar. That would be something. And I don't really follow that train. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Good time to roll out their CBDC just in time to reset the system. New all-time high on backed volume. Well, it's certainly a day for it to occur, my friend. Unless the new United States Trump coin is MAGA crypto, that's sound money all the gold bugs have been clamoring for. I mean, make no mistake, we are going to see central bank digital currencies. It's going to be coming in our lifetimes. I don't feel that there is... I don't feel that there's any way around that. I mean, you know, China is actively going to be... has already developed theirs. They're just, you know, waiting to roll it out. That's going to be rolling out probably over the next 5 to 10 years. America is currently designing theirs. Every central bank pretty much around the world is actively developing or considering actively developing a central bank digital currency. It's digital, you know, digitization of everything is absolutely the world that we're moving into. You just look at what we're able to do nowadays with, you know, Uber and Wish and Amazon and everything digital, everything from your mobile device, everything on demand. Liberality, Ricky Thompson? Yeah, I mean, I think Andreas Antonopoulos said it best when he talked about the big differences, you know, what is blockchain technology or what is Bitcoin? And he talked about what an open blockchain is. And I'm going to probably miss some things, but, you know, censorship resistant, open, fungible, secure, non-reversible, decentralized. And a digital dollar is going to be none of those things. Digital dollar is going to be highly centralized. It's not going to be open to audit. It is going to be reversible because, of course, they have to be able to stop transactions that they consider to be illegal. It's not going to be censorship resistant for the exact same reasons. So you're not going to be able to send money to whoever you want. You're only going to be able to send money to authorized entities. So, if being in Bitcoin has taught me anything, it's that in the long run, hodlers tend to win. That's why Bitcoin remains part of my long-term investment stack. China is a hot mess, Mr. Graham says. They printed 51 trillion in spending and were pumping their own growth, but what nation hasn't? Why use Tether if a digital dollar is available? Well, why wouldn't you? You're assuming that the digital dollar is going to be immediately available for use with cryptocurrency. You'd still be limited by the on-ramps. Like, for example, on Binance International, there's no easy fiat on-ramps. I mean, I agree with you. I think that a digital dollar would be a better medium to transact in than Tether. But it's going to take some time for the digital dollar. I mean, you might see... Sure, listen, I'm sure that you would see probably some very large volatility on the announcement of the digital dollar, but it's mostly a known. But, you know, then again, universal basic income will be rolled out at the same time as the digital dollar, most likely. What if FedCoin airdrops FedCoin to crypto holders? Like, turn in your Bitcoin, get CBDC, and also let's say they forgive student loans and force tax payments in FedCoin. Well, they add in those last two things, then maybe we could see a big cashing out of most millennials' Bitcoin holdings. Have fun butchering your own turkey, Mr. Munz. All UBI will be paid in MAGA coins. There'll be Yang coins, man. It will be Andrew Yang coins. The digital dollar would not have the support of the international world, Cryptonomics says, nor would it have any power. Currency fundamental is that it has to be fungible and also limited in denomination. Let's go Palladium. Let's go take a look at our preciouses, man. Dow chopping around. Intraday. Chopping around. Interday. Gold as well. Or silver as well, excuse me. Let's go look at platinum. A couple little mini trends on platinum here. Little bearish trade here. Little bullish trade here. Yeah, not really. This was the last good long platinum trade. Let's go look at my baby Palladium. Oh, let's go Palladium. Everybody should be in a long trade. Two conf long right here or a 3 conf long right here. Either way, everybody should be in that long trade. This was the good trend. This is the good Palladium trade right here. That was the big one. That was the big precious metals trade right here. In my humble opinion of the last few months. Yep, here's where you could have gotten into the nice Palladium trend, either here or here. Here, maybe. Although you would have got kicked out here, so that's okay. Back in here. Missed this gain, but you get most of these, which is good. Everyone should have Palladium and BTC. Yes, by the way, guys, I will be here tomorrow. We will be having a Thanksgiving show tomorrow, yes. So, gather around the table, invite the family, bring your friends over. Don't argue about football. Don't argue about politics. Don't argue about economics. Let's argue about Bitcoin. Bring them to the table. We'll argue about Bitcoin. I'll do the work. You guys just come on down. Do I think Bitcoin is going to make a rebound out of its consolidation? I do not at this point in time. We need to go from here to up here on this indicator. And we need to do a color flip and get up here. Excuse me. Now, if you are using regular volume or the volume oscillator instead of volatility, then potentially you can be looking at a long signal earlier. Keep in mind that something that applies to one particular area of the market, you don't just want to take on that one signal. You're always looking for a strategy and a signal that's going to be reliable in all market conditions. Justin freaking wise, after 6 days, rose from the ashes and started preaching again. Yes. Pump then a dump before the monthly CME close, and then pump again, K7 Jixer. Yeah, we're still in consolidation area, man. I mean, unfortunately, I think we're starting to look a little negative for Mr. Plan B stock to flow model over there. We have different fundamentals right now. Well, this is not a bullish chart. Hold on a second. Let me curve fit this resistance level to fit my bias. There we go. It doesn't need to go any particular price level to break a downtrend. We're already above the baseline. It's the indicators. The indicators need to switch over to let us know that we're in a bullish environment. Although a lot of people are going to look at things like the daily 21 or the daily 200 or the daily 100, all of which we are below. Things get particularly nasty if we get a weekly 1355 cross under. But the weekly 55 is coming in at 78.95. I would ostensibly like to see price close on the weekly basis above that. But again, really all we've seen from the weekly perspective, since the tilt of the weekly 13 has started moving to the downside, every recovery pump we've seen has come into the vicinity of the weekly 13 and rejected. So that one would put us up around 85. I would be very surprised if we closed December above that. But we'll see. We'll deal with 78.95 first. B-Flow, are we gonna see other YouTubers copying my trend line? Yes, it's possible. I have seen, I don't know, people tell me, I have noticed, I would say, anecdotally, things that people copy from me, but that's okay. Over here on DLive, Mr. Der Cryptomeister says, because China and the Norks have always been open and forthcoming about their transactions. It's a 20-period Hall moving average, Mr. Meister. When you tell people that the United States dollar is a Ponzi and money that is created out of thin air, they laugh like you're crazy. Well, that's all money, essentially, in today's environment. Yeah, you can use this curve. There we go. You guys get the point? Now everybody knows why Justin doesn't use trend lines. All right, guys. With that being said, thank you so much for chilling with me. Cut the music. Cut it. Cut the music. Cut the music. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin with your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and co-founder at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully, you guys go on to have a very fantastic day. I want you guys to trade safely out there. Again, you know, go back and rewatch the episode. There are very poignant areas where we talk about particular areas of the market. Those will be timestamped after the video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to respond to you within the next 48 hours, as long as it is germane to the conversation that we're attempting to have with this show. We'll also enter you for a chance to win in our crypto comment giveaway competition that we do every single day, grabbing a YouTube commenter by random from the comment section and tipping them some crypto. Guys, so much to talk about. ByBit Brawl registration ends tonight. So if you haven't signed up, if you would like to trade with us and attempt our stab at this as it sits right now, 25 Bitcoin prize pool, you guys can go sign up at bybitbrawl.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Link in the description down below. If you haven't registered at ByBit, you can go to bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com. You will get a special welcome bonus with that referral link as well. In addition, we are going to be having the Black Friday sale starting on Friday. Who would have thought? Yes. So if you guys have been hodling out for the deal to come join our team and trade with our community, that will be on the table for you guys, to existing members and new members as well. I'll have full details of that tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow for Thanksgiving, so you guys can watch us with the game on in the background to break down Turkey Day. Let's give a big thank you to Bitcoin for putting in some nice volatility and some nice behavior for us to talk about today. Again, I hope you guys trade safely, make smart decisions. Let me know if you enjoyed the show down in the comments section, and please join our Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com to keep the conversation going after the show, because that is where we be. Not in the trap, in the Discord, guys. Until tomorrow, guys, trade safely, and I'll see you on the next one.